as a component of this, a statewide multimedia campaign addressed to get in front of folks, share with them the term DSP, what a DSP Ohio is, and really give a hint as to the rewarding nature of the job and what it can mean for you as an individual employee, and link that specifically to a job site. And that is what Scott helped us with in designing DSP Ohio. It is absolutely a work in process. We are 3 months into this, so we have some good data, but we also know where we have challenges. It is imperative that I'm going to say this. I think we'll all say this. I know Debbie will. This effort, one, is ongoing, we hope, and it will be as successful as is the investment of all the partners, and the partners include you as providers. If you as a provider sort of sit on the fence on this and are not really engaged, then it will only work that well for you. So we've got to build momentum, and we need the excitement and the energy, enthusiasm, and the commitment that goes with making something that complements your efforts to recruit DSPs and direct level staff. Yes, that's really it.
Just before we go any farther, can everybody hear us? I want to make sure that...
That would be funny.
Yes, okay, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So with that in mind, let's get to a sense of how we're doing, particularly with respect to our marketing campaign. So it started in January 8th. That was the kickoff through 4/10, so 3 months of activity. The campaign delivered, and you can see this on your screen, over 9.1 million impressions, meaning that across the state of Ohio, whether through Facebook, paid digitalized media, somewhere that can be tracked, we've been in front of folks over 9 million times. That generated over 22,000 clicks to our DSP Ohio website. Now, before you may say, well, that doesn't seem like a lot, the industry standard for comparable kinds of marketing is 0.05, meaning they see something and they actually take action on it, is 0.05. So far, in the first 3 months, our efforts have resulted in a 0.24 click-through rate, meaning that 0.24% are actually seeing something and taking the action of going to our site. That's probably a really good start. Now we'll talk, as we think about, we got to get them through our site and through submission of their contact information. Part of what, most of what our discussion today will be, how can we, work on our site, your individual profiles to feed that. But we feel good about our start and how we're getting people to the site. Now we've got to continue on, right? So I just talked about your own involvement, our involvement. Please, please, please. One thing that we cannot know is if you have actually hired somebody through this process. We can't know that unless you tell us that. We can tell if folks are submitting contact information to individual providers, if they have clicked on provider profiles. We can tell all sorts of things about the site, but we don't know ultimately, if it is successful and what we can learn from that, where it is and where it is not. So to continue to help build momentum around this project and this effort, you can help us, and you can help us by any number of different things. Facebook, sharing successes. If you hire, share with us a picture of your hire, right? Mm-hmm. And however you wish to do that, there's so many creative ways to do these things. Pictures, testimonials, successes, we will put those things, on our website to build that momentum and awareness, right? So I'm going to let Christine talk about this. There is something we're going to do. We want to make sure we stay in touch with you continually with everything, good and bad, what we've got, what we're learning, what we need to change, all that kind of stuff. It's harder to do emails, I think, because it's hard to figure out how we're getting throughout our entire system with our partners on this. So we are going to set up something called Basecamp. And because Christine is much more tech savvy, I'm going to let her explain that.
Yeah, so Basecamp is kind of a digital home base, I guess you could describe it as. Some of you may or may not be familiar with it. But basically, it's just a place where we, the Opera DSP Ohio staff, can post stuff. So right now, we actually have, if you go on, you can either follow this link, or if you've got an iPhone, you can hold your camera up to that QR code there in the corner, and that'll take you to the Basecamp. And you will see that we already have the PowerPoint for today has been uploaded, and a link to a end-of webinar survey. And we're hoping that we'll be able to use that to share some more information from the analytics side, post some of our dashboards, and really just have more open communication from everybody around this table to everybody, all of the end users.
It will take an affirmative act on the part of each of you and all providers to join Basecamp, but it is very, very simple. It will be a repository of information and a way for us to share information. So,
and you know, right now, so we've been doing emails, and we've only been using the emails that were used as the usernames for the login. So this will allow you, if you have someone whose email, you have another staff person whose email was used as that username, but you would also like to get information, you can also join this Basecamp, and you'll be able to see the information. So it won't be anybody in your agency can join that Basecamp. We do have a couple questions. Do you want to address them
Sure.
right now? So Marty asks, I'm hearing from providers that awareness of the DSP position is vitally important. How have we made people aware across the multimedia approaches?
all right, the core component of this, right, is the fact that nobody knows what a DSP is. That's not a surprise to anybody on this call. We have branded our own term. So how are we getting out in front of folks? Through our marketing campaign. Again, DSP Ohio complements your ongoing efforts, right? But we are targeting initially, first 3 months, individuals 18, right, to 44, male and female, 18 to 44, male and female, right? Now, we can always adapt. We know there's a retirement group that we will ultimately get at, but we can prioritize focus through any of that demographic, male, female. We can focus on the college kids. This is the kind of feedback and conversation we want to have, at large. Right? So, digitalized media, meaning they're seeing video, they're seeing banners, they're seeing, and we're on Pandora right now. We're in laundromats. There's a number of different ways in which we're trying to get out there. Our goal, real quickly, again, reinforces we're trying to hit at the heartstrings of folks, right? And to get them to understand that this can be a very rewarding job. We're not pretending that it's always easy. We want to make sure, but there are folks that are working in other places that might even make more, that it's not a fulfilling job, and we want to get right at that to make sure it's a fulfilling job. I do not know what an answer to the second question.
So the question was, do you want a common hashtag to have a base SharePoint? We've not discussed that, but we do have a DSP Ohio Facebook, so you can go like that. We've been trying, if you mention us, we've been trying to share some of those mentions, if you tag us in things. So that's a step in that direction. And that'll be a next step would be common hashtag.
Thank you, because I had no idea what that even meant. Thank you very much. Great idea. Okay. So let's jump to the next one. I want to, and this will lead right into the important things that Debbie and folks are going to talk about. All right, look at this. When we think about our profiles, when we think about all that we market, right? Maybe this is not a surprise, folks. I think in some respects it was to me. How well do U.S. adults read? You can see the graph. It's pretty self-explanatory. So when we're writing our profiles, wow, how simple, yes, must we be when we talk about our profiles, and what audience are we trying to get to, right? This is not defamatory on anybody. This lays out very clearly for you the reading level on average of Americans. So it's less than we think. So let's write our stuff that way. So if we move on, 3 ingredients for shareable writing. This is not a surprise. This will be reinforced here shortly. Novelty, new ideas. People want creativity. The world is very different than it was when I grew up. Right? Take advantage of that creativity. Right? Think about it. And all of you, I was just looking today. There were some very good comments about a provider from their own staff. It was not on DSP Ohio. I found it elsewhere, and so I immediately reached out to the CEO and said, why don't you take some of those wonderful comments that you've got and put them on DSP Ohio? Those are better sells than anything you can talk about the history of your agency, likely, or at least something to think about. You want the readers to identify with the subject of characters. How hard can that be in our system? That should be a given, right? It's a natural base. Yes, fluency, we know that. And important, as we just talked about, higher reading level does not mean better writing, right? And then my last piece for the moment is keep it simple here. And we've put this on our website, and we're going to share this with this whole PowerPoint. There are some simple online tools that you can literally cut and paste your profile and stick it in here. This smog index, for example, you look it up that way, it's online, you cut your profile, paste it into smog, and it will tell you what reading level you've written at. It's kind of amazing, really. We've tried it a couple of times. I would argue, take advantage of this. If you think you're writing simple, you might be surprised you're still a little more difficult than you think, right? So you can do these. They're all functional. We've done them all. I would have, okay, get it? Debbie?
Thanks, Jeff. So I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what your mindset should be as you're going through this, as you're creating your profile, as you're adjusting your profile. And you can use some of this in your other HR outreach efforts. But Jeff talked earlier about the media campaign and how we're targeting with the media campaign millennials and that younger generation. But one of the things you need to do is think about who your target audience is. I mean, we all know geographically across the state, depending on where you're at, you're going to be looking at different people. And so you need to know based on where you're at, where you live, who are you trying to get to? Don't just think about the millennials. Think about those retirees that might, need a little bit of extra income and can work part-time, and who have cared for children. The stay-at-home moms that have cared for their children for a really long time, and now their children are grown, and they want that fulfilling career of being able to help other people. That's what their life has been until that point. So it's really for you to sit down and think about those different types of people and what you want to target. And then you need to think about that as you're putting together your profile, as you're using this. So if you are targeting millennials, there's some really important things that you need to think about. And, I'll say this, I am not a millennial. So those of you who know me, I'm not a millennial, but I do know that you guys probably all have millennials on your staff that would be really good at helpful to help you to know what you need to do in order to target those. So I put a couple things down here, things to think about when you're doing this. I went through and looked at some of the provider profiles that are out there, and there's some that have 2-3 paragraph long sentences, long sentences. Jeff talked about, the reading levels. People aren't going to spend time, sitting there and reading through a profile. If they're looking for a job, they're going to want to look really quick. So think about using bullet points, just a couple of words. They don't even have to be full sentences. If you think about millennials and the fact how they use their social media, most of this is not even full sentences. And so just a few words out there that are going to grab their attention. Use graphics and logos, pictures and videos. And I know later John's going to give us a little bit more of insight on how you can do that and how easy it can be. I know a lot of people think that that's a scary thing and they don't know how to do it, but it's really not that difficult. And if you have the right people working for you, they really can do things very quickly. And so, that is another key thing to think about is who do you have in this position for you? It might be your HR person. There's a lot of HR people who know all the rules and regulations and what you need to do with employees and in benefits and discipline, but they may not be the right people that are going to be doing this type of a thing, which is really more marketing you as an organization and reaching out to folks to get their attention and get them interested in the position. Then you have your HR folks follow it up with getting the applications and getting them, to understand what the requirements of the job are. But this is really about getting people's attention. So make sure that you're using the provider profile in a way where it's going to grab somebody's attention quickly. I'm not sure how much data we're going to share later. And so what we do know is when people do click through, they don't stay on the pages for very long. And so you're not going to put something up there that takes somebody 5 minutes to get through and think that they're going to submit their information to you and apply for a job at your organization. They're usually spending very short period of time on those pages. So you got to have things out there that are going to grab their attention very quickly. Beyond just your provider profile page, you know, with these millennials, social media is the key. I mean, you're going to have to think about where are they spending a lot of their time. They're spending their time on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all these different social media platforms. And so one of the things that you can do in order to kind of reach out and try to get people's attention is to use those different social media accounts to drive people to either DSPOhio or to your own website where you have your own job application. So think about that. You know, one of the things I talk to my members and providers a lot about is making sure that all the people you serve or their guardians, that you get them to sign releases for photos and videos, to be able to use their likenesses. Do the same for your staff, your current staff. Make sure that you have releases from your current staff so that they know that you're going to use them in these different types of social media or regular media types of campaigns. Because what's going to sell your business the best? What's going to get people to come to you? They want to know what that experience is going to be like. And what shows that experience better than testimonies from your current staff, videos, pictures? You know, it's the same as whether you're selling your services and you want to get people to come and choose you as a provider. You want to show them what you offer during the day, you know, all the activities, the things you do with them. For staff, you want to do the same thing. You want to be able to show them what experiences that they're going to have if they come and work for you. So it's really important to make sure that you have those releases on file so that you can use the information. You do want somebody who's going to be monitoring that because you got to make sure that it's all appropriate. You don't want any bad publicity because one bad picture can do more damage than 100 good pictures. But you do want to make sure that you're doing this. And it can't be something that you're just doing once, you know, where you go on your website and you put a couple good pictures up that represent what you're doing, and then it stays there for 5 years. It can't be that way, especially not on social media. I mean, I would recommend that you have something that you can post almost daily. If you don't have somebody who can do that at that frequency, maybe weekly, but you really want to stay in front of people and put things up there and show all the good things you're doing, because we know you guys are out there doing a lot of good things, helping people live wonderful lives. So you just have to be able to show that. And it doesn't take a huge media contract or hiring an advertising firm. I think John's going to talk a little bit later about the stuff that he does at Toward Independence and how quickly it can be done and how easily it can be done. You just got to get the right person in that right position. And then as you're doing that, if you're doing that on your own accounts, make sure that you're posting on your social media about DSPOhio. Make sure you're tagging DSPOhio, because that's going to help the industry as a whole. It's going to help you as your own provider, because the people who come to DSPOhio will then see your organization, but it's also helping the entire industry because it's getting more stories out there, you know, showing the wonderful things that are being done. You know, we all see in the news media often the bad things. I mean, those are the things that are out there, the bad things that happen, and we can't completely stop all those bad things from happening, but we can combat them by putting the good stories out there. So make sure that you're doing that.
Debbie, let me add something real quick?
Sure, go ahead, Jeff.
What you said. We've seen data that shows that when the number of folks that are clicking on counties, right, I believe it's the fifth highest county number of clicks is Licking County, which is a relatively small rural county in many ways. Why is that? Because the county board is working with us step by step of the way. They are advertising DSPOhio. They are doing a number of different things, and that's paying off in its own way. So we can do that with all counties across the state with your help, isolated. I mean, there are a number of ways to sort of improve, right, traffic on this site.
And we do have a comment in that it actually really folds nicely into what you just said. Facebook has created a new algorithm that hides business posts if they have little traffic. So by constantly posting your company's page, you will remain in front of people on that.
That is key. That is really important.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. So, so part of this is also targeting people who want a rewarding job or career. I actually was telling the people here yesterday, I went to the grocery store, okay, and I went to one of the low-end, Aldi is the grocery store we have here in Central Ohio. I don't know if all you have that or not, but it's a fairly low-priced grocery store. And as I'm walking in the grocery store, I see a sign there that says, now hiring cashiers starting $12.71 an hour. Okay, and so then I go through, I get my groceries, and I go to the checkout, and I see what the cashier's doing. And the cashier sits on their chair, and they're scanning groceries. They don't even bag them. They don't go out in the rain and get carts. You know, they're scanning the groceries and putting them in a cart, and then they're taking the payment. You know, we know what our staff does. I mean, our staff, we're asking them to be experts in so many different things. I mean, they're responsible for caring for another person's life, for making sure that there's fulfillment out of it. They have to have education, they have to have training, certifications, you know, they have transportation. I mean, there's so many things that we're asking our people to do. And, you know, we can't just try to get people based on salary alone. I mean, that's just not going to happen. I have a few data here that I pulled from the NCI Staff Stability Survey, and I'll probably kind of mention a few of these things as I go through. But if you think about it, in Ohio, we reported, I think this was for 2016, for residential direct support professionals, the starting average salary was $9.71 in our waiver settings and $9.88 in our ICF. And we're talking about several dollars, $3 an hour basically, under what an Aldi grocery store is starting people at. So we can't do this based on monetary benefits alone. We've got to make sure that we're sharing experiences and we're really looking to get to the folks who want to have a rewarding career. They don't want to have a job. They want to help people. I think I talked a little bit about some of those potential target audiences. And so how are we going to do that? You're only going to be able to do that if you share your stories. You share, you know, what is going to get somebody to know that when I go to work every day, beyond the paycheck, I'm going to be satisfied with what I'm doing and feel fulfilled with my work that I'm doing in the day. And so that's where some of these videos and some of the stories from people come into play. It's really important for them to share their own stories. And staff not only like to share their stories, I think if you go out and talk to them, a lot of times they're hesitant. People don't like to be on camera. Actually, today we said, is this going to be a video conference? And I said, oh no, I didn't think it was video. You know, I don't like to be on camera either, but once you do that, they realize it's really not that hard to do, and they feel like, oh, my employer really cares about me. You know, this is really important work that I'm doing, and they acknowledge that. And so when the employees can buy into that and they can share their stories, it helps you to retain that employee, and it helps to gain new employees. And so it's really important to do things like that. You know, every provider does different things with benefits. You know, not very many offer health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance. You know, I was looking at some of these stats. Only 8.5% of waiver providers in Ohio offer health insurance to all their DSPs. That's very, very, very low. So if you do that, say that. You know, put that out there. Make sure you're highlighting that. If you offer dental and vision, you know, these are benefits that they may or may not get with another job. You know, things like you pay, help them with post-secondary education. If you have opportunities for scholarships, if you are part of an organization who gives scholarships, make sure you mention that. Do you do paid time off? There's not a lot of people who do paid time off. So make sure that you are, you know, highlighting that. If there are other things that you do beyond just some of those typical compensation types of things, you know, if you do referral bonuses, if you have, you know, opportunities for advancement, make sure that you're putting those in. If you have people who help your staff to apply for benefits and find them. You know, we know most of the people who are coming to work for us, a lot of times we have a lot of single moms, which I'm a single mom, so I know what that's like. Childcare is a big issue. If you have opportunities to help them with getting childcare, especially if they're working second or third shift, I mean, those are key things that you can do. If they need help with transportation, what kind of things can you do to offer assistance with transportation? I don't want you to write stories on your provider profile and say all these things, but I do think that these are things that you can put benefits and that you can really bullet point out.
We got a couple comments on here. Someone from Winwy said to go along, and this I think was more about our Facebook and how you as an agency can show your successes on Facebook. If you go to Winry's Facebook page, you can see a recent outcome post, and the post really grabbed a lot of attention.
And that's good. That's good.
And I just quickly went on there, and it was a video, and it did look like it got a lot of attention. And then Angie, who is with Licking County, thank you, Angie. I would encourage providers to talk to their county boards about sharing information about DSPOhio and sharing provider agency success stories. We all have great services for people supported, and we need DSPs to do that. So we need to work together to get the word out. Repetition is key.
That is true. Yeah, use any partnerships that you have. Make sure that you are working with your county boards. But some of the people that we are targeting are not going to know anything about our industry. So yeah, working with the county boards and the partnerships, that's great, because people who do know about our industry and are looking for jobs, they're going to be able to go to your county board and get referrals to different agencies. But a lot of the people that I think we want to bring in are new faces, new people who don't know a lot about our industry. And so you got to think about, when you're doing your media campaigns, where are you targeting those? What places are you at? And where are the people that your target audience are located? And another thing just to remember with your target audience is, you know, a lot of people want to know, as an organization, you know, what your culture is like. You know, what are the values of your organization? And I'm not talking about your mission statement and your vision statement, because people can throw those out there and they're very well written, probably at a 12th grade or higher reading level, but that doesn't really get the attention of a 19-year-old who graduated from high school, tried a little college, wasn't successful, and now needs to find a job to support themselves, you know, or a 23-year-old single mom with 2 kids that is just trying to get by. I mean, that's not going to grab their attention. But if you talk about your organization, you talk about your family culture, you talk about how important it is for you to have those relationships with your clients and with the people that you serve and with their families. You know, how do your staff support each other? You know, it's very interesting things that people can do out there. I know one provider who gives their employees the ability to take some of their clients with them to their kids' soccer games, or if they have to do shopping or things like that. You know, different experiences, and how you can sell your culture, that you're going to be there to support that person, and that it's not just going to be kind of what I think of the old school job, where somebody comes in, they clock out, you know, while they're there, they're on your time and they're doing what, you know, you tell them to do. But how can we work around their life and get them to be able to have a job, but also balance out with their life what works for them? Because if not, you're going to have them come on and then they're going to leave fairly quickly. You know, I was looking at the NCI staff stability stuff. In the tenure, almost 20% of DSPs have been on the job for less than 6 months. Another 15% have been there 6 to 12 months. So we have a lot of people who haven't been there long, and we have a lot of people who leave in that very first year. And it's mostly, a lot of times we hear it's because it doesn't fit in with the rest of their life. And so we know this is a 24-hour support. People we serve, they have real lives, but we can connect those with the lives of the staff. And if you can show that, then you're going to be able to gather and gain more people who will come and who will stay. Because you don't want to just find another referral source to get you a lot of people. You can get 20 applications, but if those 20 applications are not good people and no one lasts a year, then it's not really helping you, because your cost, every time you have turnover, the cost to replace that person is very high. So we want to be able to get out and target the right people. So the last thing I will say, and I think Jeff mentioned this earlier, is really DSPOhio is meant to be a tool to assist you in this. We all recognize the staffing crisis that's going on. This is not going to be the silver bullet. It's not going to be, oh, I signed up and now it's going to take care of all my staffing issues that I have. It's not going to take care of the staffing crisis that we have in Ohio. But it is an effort. It is something that's going to help you. We hope that it will help the industry as a whole. I think that's why all of us support this and have put our time and our effort into something like this. But we can't do it for you, so you got to make sure that you're investing in it also. So whether that is having somebody who is responsible for checking these things, you know, you got to respond quickly. If a job seeker does put in an interest into your organization, you got to make sure that somebody is checking those things. And I'm not just saying check it daily. You got to check it hourly. You know, that's got to be your job, is to be able to say, because this is their advantage. The job seeker, they have the advantage. If they put in something and they don't hear back, they're going to go on to the next thing. They're going to go down the street to Aldi and they're going to get a job as a cashier making $12 an hour. So you got to remember, it's something that you're going to have to put time and effort in. And then you have to decide how you want to do this. How often do you want to keep updating your profiles? It shouldn't be a tool that you put your profile in once and then that's going to stay that way. You know, I understand it's a lot of work for you guys, and I know it's a lot of work on whoever does this, but you're going to have to update it. New pictures, new things that you're offering. If you have new programs, make sure that you're getting feedback. When you do have somebody who has said they're interested in, you know, talk to them, ask them what did you like about this? What made you interested? You know, build off of that. Put more of those things out there. Share this with your current staff. Make sure all of your current staff are aware of what's going on and what's available out there so that they can share it, their social media accounts, they can share it with their friends, which could potentially end up being more staff that would come to you. So make sure that they're aware of it and that you are using all of the different resources that you have available to you as you're going through and doing this. Okay, I think I've talked long enough. I did tell John that I would try to keep it kind of short, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to John. He's going to give us a little bit more information. Oh, wait, do we have a couple, Christine? We have a couple emails?
So just if you joined us late, we had a question about whether or not these slides would be available. So if you saw, you know, we've started a Basecamp. The slides have already been uploaded to the Basecamp. So if you create yourself an account and log on there, you'll have access. They are also on the Opera website, and we can also put them on the DSPOhio under the 4 providers. And we have been recording this, so we'll convert it and put it on YouTube or whatever and share that link out. Then we had another comment. Something that may help with keeping your profile up to date is having a multi-level dashboard. I use Hootsuite.
Yeah, Hootsuite's good. Can help you.
Thank you for that suggestion.
All right, well, I'm going to talk a little bit just about the nuts and bolts of actually creating your profile, how to actually add pictures and videos, and just some of the principles behind it. I will piggyback on Debbie and say the resources that we've been able to put together through Opera and all of the agencies that have funded DSPOhio, none of us as providers have that kind of resource alone. So DSPOhio is this kind of gift really to us as providers and a platform that we couldn't do on our own. So it's only going to be as powerful as what we put into it. And so just think about it. If someone gave you a Ferrari and you just put it in your garage and you never drove it, it's not going to do anything. But if someone has put all of this funding into this and gave that to you, you're going to be wanting to keep that thing nice. You're going to drive it. You're going to be proud of it. You're going to use it a lot. So really, this is a resource that's been given to us that can really be powerful. All of those numbers that you saw with the data and the analytics and the more that we'll see with Scott, that all costs real dollars that us as providers so far have not had to really put any dollars into. So really use this. It's only going to be as good as all of us putting into it. So just to kind of start with that. So first, writing a compelling description. Again, this is the very first thing that people are going to see whenever they go on DSPOhio, and they're going to see you right next to all of the other providers. So when you go to the search results and you see that screen, you're going to see multiple providers on that screen. So if we go to the next slide there. So when you go on there, you're going to see right next to other providers. All you have for someone to click on your group instead of someone else's is that tiny little spot to grab their attention. So you need to put a lot of thought into what you put into there. Some people put their history, some people use long words or large words, kind of what we've talked about before, but we really need to put a lot of thought into what we put on that section. Oh, there we go. So just to give you a couple of how do you do that is, ineffective hook, a lot of people use either their history or a long thing that they've put on their website or they created years ago that they just continually use over and over again. So, founded in 1999, strive to engage, integrate, progress, cultivate the lives of people with developmental disabilities. People who aren't in our field, have no idea even what that means. I've been in the field for a long time, and I'm not exactly sure what that means, but we use those buzzwords in our agency and in our organizations, and it means absolutely nothing. It is really gobbledygook to anybody who has no clue or is new to our field. So an effective hook, you're really trying to grab somebody. So, are you looking to leave a mark in this world? The kind of people that we're searching for, the answer is yes. I want to leave. I don't just want to be an anonymous person. I want to be someone who's giving back to the world. I want to change the world. Do you have the drive to make a real difference in someone's life? Make it personal. You can really make a difference in someone's life. Yes, my answer is yes. Okay, then click here to find out how you can make a difference. So the big things that you'll see there is you need to grab the attention of the kind of person that you're looking for and then tell them what to do. Make it very simple. Say, if these are the things you want to do, here's what you do. Just click here and I'll tell you how to become that person. And so those are just kind of two examples of what we've probably typically been doing and what you should be doing in order to attract more people to your site. And again, these are good rules of thumb, even for your website, for your social media. This is not just DSPOhio. These are just good rules for everything that you're doing. Testimonials, we've talked a little bit about using your DSPs and real stories for your DSPOhio site. Testimonials are the most powerful way that you can connect with someone who's reading words on your page or videos on your page. I can tell a story of what I think a DSP is doing out there, but if I can hear a DSP tell me how they worked for months on this person to feed themselves, and they can tell you what it was like to be in that room when that person, fed themselves for the first time, that's going to grab somebody more than any words or eloquent way that I can put words together, because I haven't lived that moment. So the more that you can use your own DSPs or supervisors or whoever you have to tell their own story, it's going to be so much more powerful than us trying to create that story ourselves. And like we said before, it really boosts that person, that employee. You're really going to build an employee for life in that. So even this past week, I'll use an example. I shot a video of one of our drivers, one of our non-medical drivers, recreating our website, and we needed a video to show what it was like to be an NMT driver. And it was kind of awkward at first because they don't want to be on camera, and you kind of break that ice there, and you ask questions and you get the video going. But then after we were all done, he came up to me and said, "Hey, am I going to be able to show that to my wife?" And that told me that he felt so proud to be a part of something like this, that our agency would come to them and ask, "What do you really feel? What do you think? Tell me a story." He felt now a part of our agency, a part of that story. He grabbed ownership of that now. So the more you can recreate that, the more powerful your DSPOhio site will be, and your website, wherever you're using it. Yes, and it doesn't, good point, it doesn't always have to be a video. You can use words at the top of your banner. You can use quotes that someone has said. You can take a picture and add quotes on top of a picture. It doesn't always have to be a full video production. the great part about our field is that it's riddled with emotion. So whether it's a video, a picture, a story, people are going to gravitate to it because it really does tug on our heartstrings. So the key is just tell the story. Whichever resources you have, however much time you have, whatever knowledge or creativity you have, just make sure that you're telling that story. That's the important part. And again, it's no secret in our field that emotion is really what brings people into our field. They want to make a difference in people's lives. They're not here for the dollar. So you need to evoke that emotion as much as possible. So I'll use this picture as an example. This is just a picture of a DSP, but it's telling so much more of a story. There's diversity in the picture. There's age difference in the picture. There's an intimate moment that's happening in that picture. And because of that, this is going to say so much more than a paragraph than I can write about what a DSP is. This tells friendship, this tells love, this tells the reason they're there. And so I just use this, and it doesn't have, I could have taken this picture with a cell phone. It's the moment that matters, not the quality of that photo necessarily. So just a couple more tips. Stay away from acronyms and terminology. I kind of brought that up at the very beginning. A lot of people that we want in our field and that we're looking for in our field are new, and they don't know what we're talking about a lot of the times. And we use DSP is an acronym. DODD is an acronym. There's so many acronyms that we use that we're just used to that we forget. A lot of people have no clue what we're talking about. And a little resource that you can go to is that DODD.ohio.gov/glossary. That's a glossary of terms. I used it when I was new to the field because it has all of those acronyms that we use. And then it's good to tell either your DSPs or someone that's new when you onboard them onto your agency, hey, go to this website. You can learn some of the things that we're talking about. Spell check is extremely important. There's nothing worse than going to a provider's website or DSPOhio page and they have spelling issues, grammar issues, periods, commas, whatever it is. Really, it's telling that person who's reading that, if they don't take the time to spell check, what kind of quality company are they really? It's a subconscious thing that happens. When you go there and you see something that's off, you automatically make judgments about that agency. So there are very simple ways to get around that. A is find someone who's in your office who is a grammar person. Ruth is our receptionist, and she loves grammar. So everything that I go to put out, even if it's a Facebook post, sometimes I'll send it to her and just say, hey, Ruth, can you just read this for me? And she'll fix it because it's always wrong, and I always have grammar or spelling errors. So find someone who actually has that strong suit and just run it by them before you send it out. Another resource that you can use if it's not a human being is the Grammarly app, which is free and it's online. You just download it onto your computer and it'll check your grammar and spelling on everything, not just Word. Anywhere that you type, it will check your grammar for you. So if you're on Facebook, it'll tell you if you have spelling errors. If you're on Twitter, wherever you're at, it's just free, it's easy, and it'll make you look more professional. Those fail-safes are really important. And then finally, again, the call to action is very important. Not only do you need a call to action, but you need to make it extremely simple. If you want them to apply now, make it easy for them to apply now. If you want them to go to your website, make it easy for them to go to their website. If it takes any time at all for them to do your action step, quite frankly, they're probably not going to do it, and you're going to lose out on a possible employee. These slides here, we're going to go into kind of how to actually customize your profile. These slides, again, are going to be available. They're available now. So don't worry about remembering everything. You can always go back and look on how to do this. So customizing your text, it's one easy way to stand out from the crowd is you can bold, you can italicize, you can underline, and very simple. I won't go into every single detail, but to bold your type, you just type what that be there before your text. So this is what you type. Don't just apply for any agency. Work for B. I is the italicized best. And then if you look on the bottom, you'll see how that turns out. And you can practice this. Little things like that will make a difference. They'll see that that kind of pops off the page, and that will grab their interest. And really put your action steps, what I would say is put your action steps in bold or italicized, because that's where their eyes are going to draw. So if you have a whole paragraph or 3 sentences, you want them to apply, that's where you want their eye to go. So they may even just skim over the rest of the words. If they see the word apply in bold, boom, that's where it is. Adding images, so just a little bit, and this is all happens on the back end of your profile page. I don't think I have a slide in there, but we can add one in. This all happens on when you're editing your profile on the back end as a provider, and you can type this anywhere on the page. You can put it on your description, you can put it anywhere, and it'll show up wherever you put it. So you're going to type image source equals, and then the location of the image, and I'm going to show you how to find that location. With all technology, there's a million ways to get to the same end. I try to make this the easiest path, the path of less resistance, I guess, for you to be able to do this. So most of us have a Facebook page. We are already uploading pictures to Facebook. So the easiest way is to grab pictures that you're already using on Facebook. In order to do that, you're going to go to your Facebook page. You're just going to right click on whatever image you want to use, and you're going to click Inspect Element, okay? So on a picture that you already put on Facebook, right-click on it, click Inspect Element, and this will work in any browser as well. It'll look a little different in each browser, but it's all the exact same. The words that you need are already going to be highlighted. So when you right-click on the image, you'll click Inspect Element. There's going to be a line of code that's going to already be highlighted for you, okay? You're going to click Edit as HTML, and you're going to choose everything that's after source equals, okay? So if you can see down there, there's going to be a line that's highlighted. You'll see SRC, thank you, yeah, equals. Everything after that, you're going to highlight, right-click, and copy, okay? Then you're just going to paste that into wherever you want that to show up on your profile page. So here you've got your image source equals, copy and pasted that line from Facebook, and then your image will show up wherever you put that. So here's the example. Again, you can go back and try this for yourselves. If you have any issues at all, our contact information is going to be there as well. You can reach out to us. I'm more than willing to help in any way that I can. So.
And there's probably also lots of YouTube videos.
Yes.
If you just Google, you can find a lot of helpful resources.
Yes, YouTube is a great place to learn. So Google how to add images to your website, and you will find something like this. So again, here's just the steps written out. You can go back and read those at your leisure. Adding a link, same kind of process. Instead, you put href equals instead of the source equals, and then you just put your website. So you can really get creative with this. You can put your website there and have a clickable link for them to click onto their website. I use this also for apply. So you can bold, italicize, and make it a link to say apply now. When you click there, it takes you to your actual application. So really your creativity and the way that you use this will really make this more powerful. You don't have to just use it for a website. You can use it for application. You can use it to take it to your website. You can really get creative with it. So again, you just use that little bit of code there and then add in the website, and it'll show up wherever you put it on there. Adding a video, this is really the most powerful tool that you can use. Again, telling your story is the most important part. So if you're not able to do videos, or if you don't have the capacity or time to create videos, telling your story through word or through picture, as long as you're just telling your story, that's important. But if you're able to do videos, which you can, here's how you physically do that on the DSPOhio website. So there's 2 platforms that you can upload your videos to. It's YouTube and Vimeo are the 2 largest places that you can. Both are free. Vimeo does have a paid version, but both are free to upload videos to. So I'm going to show you how to do both of those side screen by screen there to show you how to add those to your page. So first thing you do is just go to your YouTube or Vimeo page. Vimeo is on the left, YouTube is on the right. And you'll go to the video that you want to add to your DSPOhio page. On Vimeo, the share button is that little paper airplane. That's what the share button looks like. You're going to click that. On YouTube, there's an actual share. It says the word share on YouTube. So you'll just click share, and there's going to be a spot that shows your embed code. Very simple. On Vimeo there, it says embed, and there's a box with a bunch of words that are there. And then on YouTube, when you click share, there's an embed video box there as well. All you're going to do is highlight that entire box, copy it, and then paste it wherever you want it to go on your page. So as you can see here, why work for us? You can put a video there by just copy and pasting that in there, and it's going to show up under the why work for us section on DSPOhio website. Copy and paste that in, and then that's the words that I copied, and then you can add videos onto your page. Again, it's way less intimidating than what you may think, and it is extremely powerful. If I'm a new person coming to this page and I see a paragraph of words, or I can click on this 1.5-minute video, I'm going to click on that video every single time. And they don't have to be large productions. You can do this on your cell phone even if you need to. As long as you can capture that story, do it in any way that you can. And it is not as difficult as you may think as well. So one added feature that's been added to DSPOhio is now that you can change your profile header, which is the banner that goes above your page there. On the back end, where we just were at to add in all the videos and images and all of that, down at the bottom, there's a new feature where you can edit your profile header. All you need to do is click choose file and choose the image that you want, and that will allow you to customize your banner, which is great. Yeah, and make sure on that, it's probably similar to a Facebook banner dimensions. So whatever you're using for your Facebook banner, use that rule of thumb as well for this, because you don't want images to be stretched. You don't want them to be the wrong format or wrong size. So you want to make sure whatever you're doing for Facebook banner, use here as well. Again, the story is what matters. We have amazing stories and miracles that happen every single day in this field. And I truly believe that if we get those stories out there, more and more people are going to want to be a part of that movement. And so however, whatever skill level you have, whatever history you have, whatever creativity you have, just tell the story. So that's it.
Well said.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Scott.
Yeah, thanks. Real quickly, we have some website statistics that are listed here. First off, we're the first state in the country to have a website or a program like this. As a result, there's no real baseline that has been established with the traffic or what typically a program like this might expect. We're very happy with the amount of traffic on the site, the Facebook initiative, the click-through rates, as Jeff had mentioned, are quite high. We've had 9,000 total searches, as you can see. The job seeker, we've had 701 job seekers fill out the contact form. We would actually love some feedback from you that have received those job seeker email forms and see the type of candidate we've received, what the interaction has been like. And of course, if there's any improvements or suggestions that you might have, again, it's a work in progress. So your feedback is really important to us. The statistics will be updated and sent to you in that weekly DSPOhio email that we're now sending out. And Christine.
Yeah, with got a question. Are some of these results paid or are they all organic? They're both.
Yeah, they're both. We have seen that the organic traffic is increasing. We've seen that folks are actually typing in DSPOhio in their searches to come to the site. We have seen quite an increase in that. And then most of the traffic, though, is coming through Facebook. We have had not Spotify, we've had some response through the Pandora. So we're pleased with the statistics. We believe we're establishing this baseline, and we will keep you updated in that weekly email.
Anything else?
No, did we answer Nick's question?
No, we didn't. And Nick, I think Nick signed off. Can the DSPOhio Facebook page share provider Facebook post? Yes, we can. I try to sleuth very hard to find stuff, but really unless you tag DSPOhio in it, I'm most likely not going to see it. So please tag us so we can share that.
Yeah, and remember, you know, one of the things I'm finding, because now I have teenage kids that are about to graduate, and I'm finding, you know, some of them don't use Facebook. So I know we talked a lot about Facebook, but, you know, they're using Twitter, they're using Instagram. So don't just put all of your eggs in the Facebook basket, because that's really now being used more by older generations. And I could say that because I'm part of that. But, you know, really, there are lots of other platforms that are out there, and part of our responsibility is going to have to be keeping up with those, because they change. Every year there's something new coming out, and there's some new thing that is the, you know, fad, you know, in social media. And so, you know, we have the best resources. We have our employees who are doing this. And so we can just poll our employees and say, you know, what do you go to on a daily basis? Where do you get all of your information from? Or what do you look at? You know, and so although Facebook is great and we can do that, same thing on Twitter. Make sure that you're, you know, putting that in. Make sure that you're tagging DSPOhio so that we can know and we can repost those things.
And that goes, I'm sorry, John, that goes for our paid marketing, right? It is continually adaptable. So what we started out with does not mean that that's what we can have to continue with.
Right. Yeah. And I would say there's easy ways. There's an app called If This Then That. Is an easy app where you can tell it to do things. If I put a Facebook post, also post it to Twitter and Instagram. So you're not having to recreate that post every single time. You can just do it once and it'll send it to everywhere that you want it to send to.
Yeah, this week does that too.
Great.
Yeah, just be careful. Make sure that you're paying attention to those, because each platform has different requirements, and so sometimes you put something on Facebook and you say automatically put it on Twitter and it just comes up as some like link, and no one's going to click on a link. They want to be able to see the picture and they want to see the caption.
Right.
You know, so make sure that if you're going to use one of those things that posts on multiple different platforms, that whatever you're posting is works for all the different platforms that you're using.
Yep.
With a comment from Mark, just wanted to thank everyone for their work today to continue to develop and improve DSPOhio. This effort does matter in our workforce crisis.
Absolutely.
We are very appreciative. So Scott, any further comments from our presenters? We are so very appreciative that folks would come over and spend their time, and we're appreciative that all of you joined us. I think Christine will finish with how you can do the survey.
Yeah.
I just want to add this, Scott touched about the baseline, right? This is 3 months, so we're beginning to know some things and sort some things out. So we'll be in touch with you continually through Basecamp, through more webinars, through personal outreach, to try and get this thing so that it works as optimally and efficiently as possible, and as to John's point, as exciting and emotional as possible. Yes?
Yeah.
We'll stay on a few more minutes. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat box. Thank you guys for staying on for a little longer.
Yes.
We have this Survey Monkey. It's only 7 questions. If you wouldn't mind taking a few minutes to fill that out, we'd really appreciate it to get some more feedback. We would really
Yes.
appreciate that.
And we want to be here to support you guys as you go forward. And so we think the plan is that we will continue to do these in different ways, you know, through emails and through webinars and just different ways, because we know everybody has different ways of learning. So if you have any specific questions or any topics you'd like us to cover, please let us know.
Spot on. Thank you.
We have had 3 inquiries, but 2 were out of area. Not sure how that could have happened. That was comment.
It must have been what they selected.
Yeah.
When the job seeker goes on, they select which counties that they're looking for. And it's possible, I mean, if they did it through the map that's on there, and they may have clicked on the wrong county, or they may have put in the wrong information. So, you know, that's where then at that point, maybe you can just let them know that, you know, that you're in a different county, but they can go back on, but that take them to go back on to DSPOhio and make sure that they get to the right county that they're looking for. And you may, you know, I know it's work for you, but if you assist them in that, that will help others, and we hope that other providers would do the same when they get people who might be in your county who are looking for a job.
And we're still seeing providers that are listing in counties in which they're not providing service in. So we are working with county boards to pair that off, but you can help us too if you clearly see what we would consider kind of a violation. We've asked providers only to list in the counties in which they're providing service or starting up service. So if we do know that some have sort of clicked all counties or different things, and that proves a real challenge for the job seeker.
Any other questions? Comments?
Okay. We are very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, great.